clone voice, real voice, who knows what it is. But there is a person behind its operation, and it changed like frequency, tone, cadence, or whatever. It sounded different. In a slow voice, it said, "Every time you," again, I understand what it's designed to do. I want to make this short for people out there who are only watching short videos. Every time you, and then what do you start thinking about? Every time you what? And then it's like cause and effect. That is a manipulation designed to make you think about cause and effect. Every time I what happens? And every time I hear them do that voice, my brain says, do whatever you want, because ignore that shit. Ignore that shit. Go ahead, do whatever you want. Because every time I does not matter to anybody else, that's not me. Right? And if it does, call the laws on me. Call the cops, call the police. If I'm doing something out there that is affecting you and your life and how you're doing, go ahead. Not gonna be me. So every time you use your stalker shit on me, more of your shit gets exposed. I'm going to do some research into prepaid legal because I definitely remember it as a thing. I know the kids that I grew up with paid into it. I don't know where it's at right now as far as its existence. Criminals are great social engineers. That's why they require social activities. It's about getting smart to the world around you. Social engineering. Do you know social engineering could be something like making someone's printer print 30 seconds after it's supposed to so that they forget that they printed important bank paperwork and maybe mistakenly put it in a recycle bin, which then gets retrieved by someone after hours who stays there just waiting to see if they can do anything. And then it's like they're protecting information almost. Like they think I'm going to start printing out records, so they make sure there's someone always watching me so that I don't do that. I have zero desire to print out anything. The last time it happened, when I was at Cox Castle, it seemed like they were doing things. Oh my gosh, and this goes towards the roaches. Here, let me talk about the socially engineered roach scheme. So based off of how I've responded to past events like my time at Louis Brisbois, I have a box or two of paperwork of what I would consider evidence as far as their billing practices and procedures. And then to come to find like a place like this has had billing lawsuits, right? I'm such an honest person that even though I've worked for corporate defense law firms and I've done this shit for so many years and I know who I'm working with, I still have such like a good-hearted sense of the people that I work for, and I'm so wrong about it sometimes, that I think that I believe in innocent until proven guilty. Innocent until proven guilty. And my experience, I have a lot of stuff that can prove a lot of people guilty, which is like the box of paperwork. So their intention is to create situations that forced me. I remember it started to happen at Cox Castle, and it reminded me so much of Louis Brisbois that I stopped doing it because I have too much shit in my apartment. But they had created a bunch of incidents that would make me print my notes on them, like print out what it was that was so egregious. Like what misunderstanding or how they've tried to make it look like I fucked up my work, how they have fucked up my work. And I have it all in this nice little box. I have all of my handwritten notes on my policies and procedures and stuff in a nice little box. And it was happening. And then this whole roach scheme, right? So this is how you can socially engineer a roach problem. Paperwork. Somebody in this building, his name is Greg, reminded me that roaches live in boxes and paperwork. He has knowledge that roaches live in boxes and paperwork. And I wouldn't say forced, but there were situations created in my past at 2 different employers where I had to print stuff out just so that I could, like, in the event something were to go down, I have this as evidence. And I have these boxes of what I call evidence, right? I was supposed to take some of this stuff to my mom's house last weekend, but that was canceled by a forced leak in my bathroom. Because if I remove the paperwork from my apartment, it makes it harder to spread the roaches. So that's one thing. My mom's coming down here to get a puppy this weekend. I can't go do my laundry again, and the paperwork has to sit again. So maybe it's just the universe, but I do have knowledge of what causes roaches and the things I need to do in order to keep them from accumulating in my apartment. And I definitely have a lot of paperwork that would implement law firms in some big shit sitting in my apartment. So when I see on the video, and this is why I don't believe any of this shit, it's so outlandish, but this is how they do it. Like, Celeste's body ended up in the trunk of a Tesla, so there's nothing that I will not ever fucking consider. They had somebody, there's a ladder outside my fucking thing, my window. Somebody fucking brought a goddamn ladder in the building and put it outside the window. They've put ratchet straps outside my window in the past. On my video camera, I have he has a bottle of pop-off vodka, and in my opinion, the only shit that shit is good for is starting a motherfucking fire. I don't even know if it can do that well, but it may not have been vodka. It could have been gasoline. So there's all this paperwork in here. They fucked with my fire alarm. I'm definitely an enemy of attorneys somewhere. And I think it's more than attorneys. There is a system in place, people in powers and places that be. I didn't know about the White Nationalist Party. So that's like a new thing that I've started to think about or make connections, or the universe is sending me messages about in the last few weeks. So if they are signing my death certificate right now, oh, thank you. I've always talked about wanting to look my murderers in the face, so maybe I've done that. I may have done that already. And then I want to bring up my recruiter passing away, and they said Sharon Sognalian said it's mental issues. I really don't know what mental issues she was going through, but I can tell you in my experience with her what she had told me. She had experienced a layoff, but she was able to work. She was able to get me placed. Getting me placed made her money. So I don't know if she was able to do so for other people, but in my opinion, in my conversations with her, she was something that helped me keep going, right? Me getting a job is what helped me not feel bad or down, like, immediately. I get jobs immediately. I get interviews immediately. But part of that is because some of these people want to play with my emotions. And part of that could have something to do with this prepaid legal program. I don't know. I have to research it. I gotta look into it. These are two things. These are connections I'm trying. These are my pins on the board that I'm trying to connect. So every time you do that shit to me, it reminds me of more points that I need to talk about, more notes that I need to take, more things that I need to reveal, uncover. This is a diabolical plan if you guys are able to get away with it. If every step along the way I've revealed a crime ring, fraud, people in high places that have done stupid things, I think this is the stupidest system, program, network, group of friends, socially engineered event that has ever taken place. Like, you really picked the wrong one. How many people have you had to murder just because they knew too much? How many people? So let me talk about instances where things like anything can happen to you any day, anywhere you go. Once they revealed like the little sleeping, what is it, the trumpet plant that Jeffrey Epstein has? Um, it's not just that plant. It's one of the reasons I don't drink, because I feel like in my experience people have taken the opportunity as an advantage, taking advantage of the opportunity, and help themselves to poisoning me. So, yeah, I have no desire to drink. Drinking is not fun for me because it's always ended in, like, it's ended in me having a morning where I have to think back on, man, I wish I didn't do that. I try to say I have no regrets, but there was a period of my life where I was hanging out with people that our our idea of fun caused me to have issues. Like the next morning when you're driving home from a party and the sun's coming up, I don't like that feeling. That makes me feel like, wow, I fucked up. And now I gotta go through the whole day with no sleep and knowledge that I fucking party my ass off. Like, you don't feel good about it. So I stopped doing that shit. I stopped hanging out with people that made it so I was driving cars home at the time the sun's coming up. That is the worst feeling. Right? Party was so much fun last night, and now it's 6 a.m. and I'm on the motherfucking 101 upset. Right? And I gotta be at work by 10 o'clock. So not only do I gotta go that way, I gotta go turn around and go back that way. I gotta go back out to where I just came from. Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. So if that's the life that you're living and you're looking at me like, how do I do me? You get away from people that do that. You get away from people that do that. No. The reason I don't care about this, it's not. So, there's a few things. These voices just mentioned this firm. The voices in the apartment above me just mentioned that law firm. And what I have to say about it is, I understand that they are trial attorneys. I understand litigation. I understand evidence. That's why I release the shit that I release. I would like someone to put me on a stand somewhere so I can talk about things. I'm not worried about it. It's not gonna be It may be emotional. If it's emotional, I'm gonna start crying, but it's acting to play the shit for me in my favor. And I say that because I have every ability to express things without emotion. Now that I know the emotional events are being caused, and I know who's doing it. Well, not exactly who's doing it, but when I encounter you, I do know. Um, so there's other things that make me think it's also some kind of like everybody does it differently. They have their reasons for doing it. Some people are doing it for money. Some people just want to know what I think about them, and they will put their self. And I think that's also the difference. There's people out there who are not trying to collect money, who just think it's funny that they can hear what I'm saying. um and they like laugh about it, and I think it's funny too. Those people who are just listening, they're not intimidating or trying to intimidate me. They don't, like I said, there's certain ways of playing this game, and you can tell who is new and who has been following me for a while. I don't know if there's like a tips on stalking this person page, uh, or if each like stock has a do not do this. Uh, but like I said earlier, there was a person, you can tell. I'll tell you exactly what the situation was. I told you earlier I don't ride in elevators with people. Like, I will wait. I'll wait. If I have to wait 30 minutes, I will let everybody for 30 minutes take the elevators before me. Because I don't want to ride with you. And if I ride with you, you might feel lucky, but it's because I know you're going to a floor that I don't have to stop at. And then as soon as you get out, I'm going to go where I need to go. So, like, I don't have to wait. I can go with you, and then I can still get to the floor I need to go to. I just wait because I prefer to be by myself and not have to do that funny shit. And what happened was going up the other morning, and it's like a common courtesy, but at this point I feel like everyone where I work knows that I don't want to ride in the elevator with anybody. This probably been talked about at people's jobs. Like, they talk about me as the weird girl who doesn't ride the elevator. You see her, the weird girl, she don't ride the elevator, nobody ride. So we're probably at that point. And there was a new guy. There's people that, visitors that come in, delivery people that come in all the time. And it feels like there was a new stalker who thought he had a chance of getting me to get in the elevator with him. And any reasonable person, when the elevator comes, they just go. They're not so concerned about the people who are standing outside. They just get on. They may, right, like really considerate and kind people, they may, and I'm telling you how it happens so you don't end up looking new or stupid. They may end up from inside of the elevator putting a hand out or poking their head out and asking you if you're coming. But if not, it's the courtesy to wait for people, like people to enter or people to leave. It is not as common as it maybe was. Like, when I see men wait for women to enter elevators, it's usually people who work for the same place. Men, as far as what I've observed, don't necessarily wait for women to enter elevators. They'll wait for them to exit, like the first person out. But entering an elevator, I feel like, has different rules, or it happens differently. So when this man like insisted on waiting for me and I clearly was not going, and then he stops and asks, "Are you coming up?" before he gets in the elevator, it tells me two things. He wants to ensure that I'm riding in the elevator with him by waiting outside of it for me to go first, versus getting in the elevator and like getting on his way. That's how I know he's a creeper. So my first thought was, oh my gosh, you're new. It's so sweet of you. Um, you guys don't act normal. Okay, so I went to, today was a farmer's market day. Yesterday was farmer's market day. And as I'm walking to lunch, there's a group of people behind me. And it's not, I will tell you, it's not paranoia. I might be wrong about them being stalkers, but the energy is so fucking real. I can tell you, this group of people were part of the gang stalkers that Terry Crews mentioned were following him around when he made reports out about like big people in the industry, elites. So this group of people, workers, I don't know if they work in the area really or if they were tasked to specifically meet up with me, but when you go to lunch around the same time every day, or when you're forced to go to lunch at a certain hour because of things that people are doing to your computer later, there's a good window of estimation as to what time you'll be coming out to go to lunch, right? And while I was going to stay in the office, I decided to go on a walk to the Lego store to go see if the Lego store's open, because I've been waiting. It's like a week now. The Lego store's closed every time I go there for no fucking reason. They said it's their air conditioner, but a week of no sales because your air conditioner, that's very expensive. So on my lunch, as I'm going to walk, I can sense a group of people that picked up pace, picked up on me as I was exiting the building. And what they do in this group is, it's like very loud verbal keyword assault harassment. So this is how they talk about things that you posted your video about, things that they know about you. The new information that they've collected on you, you will hear it repeated back to you through a conversation that a group of people is having. Because I didn't want to hear any of that shit, what I did, as soon as I noticed this group of people acting funny, I started running. Like literally took off running so I could put enough space between us so I don't have to hear that shit. And what ends, like, it started with large footsteps. And if it's going to look so funny if you're like watching, you're going to see them start to walk faster. They're going to try to not make it look so obvious. So you will see a group that starts out waiting in a hallway. When they see me, I'm describing to you exactly what happened. A group that's waiting in a hallway that doesn't start walking until they see me walking. And they start walking immediately because their intention is to be as close to me as possible. So they're trying to get up, maybe even past me so they can walk in front of me and slow me down so I'm forced to listen to them. Or say, excuse me. So before they could herd around me, like how border collies do or whatever, shepherds and stuff named Mason, before they could get in front of me to harass me, I took off with extra fast footsteps that turned into a slight jog that gave me enough space not to hear that shit. Very satisfied I was with what I did because of the amount of people around me that I can hear their conversations. Right? That shit's funny. You guys know that I know that you're stalkers, and yet here you are. Century City.